Hi there, Dolly friends. Thank you so much for stopping by to watch my video this week. As much as I want to spend time on the little things and decorating the infirmary, I have to get down to basics. I have to install this floor and the wall, work on the ceilings and walls in the parlor and upstairs, and I'll probably do a little bit in the infirmary just because it's so much fun and I'll need to reward myself for my hard work. I gave a good scrub to the walls and the floor, even though it doesn't really look like it. And I'm just kind of dry fitting the pieces I have here. The pieces on the end on my left, I had to photocopy because where I bought the floors, they ran out. And I want to continue the floor into the kitchen. So that room on the left will end up being the kitchen. I'm just using some regular PVA white glue to glue down the floors, and I'll probably put a coating of Mod Podge over it afterward. I took my time and I was patient. I laid the book on top. I didn't do my usual MO of just plowing through and not allowing things to dry because it gets really old doing things over again because of impatience. Yeah, so the floor went down really easily, even the paper pieces. I did print them on cardstock. They came out a little bit darker, which is okay. There is a little bit of gray area too, which is fine because I'll have a stove and things in there. The space between the railing and the floor is going to be an outside space, and I'm going to fill it with plants eventually. So it will, I might even age it up a little bit. I'm not sure. Right now, I'm just trying to get them installed so I can really work on the infirmary and doing other things to get it completely ready. I don't have a heat gun, but my blow dryer worked just fine. The walls were a little more difficult because the paper is very, very thick. The tile is embossed on there, and it took quite a bit of glue, especially at the edges. I did use the PVA glue again, and you'll see right here that I end up having a seam that I don't want there. And I have an idea of what I'm going to do for that, so I didn't fret about it too much. I knew it was going to be there one way or another. But I have a little idea that I'm going to do to cover that up. I'll show you that toward the end of the video today. Just trying to keep it down flat was a little bit challenging. Now that that's done, I'm going to do a little bit of playing because I got the boring part done. And I'm going to play with some of the fixtures and things that I'm going to end up putting down here so that I can play with where I want to put them. I'm still not sure where they're going to go. Remember, I bought this little sink online. I am really happy with this little porcelain sink, but it's going to have two other spouts, not that spout in the middle, so I wanted to cut it off. And I'm using it as a practice to see, I need to age these pieces a little bit. They're pretty darn shiny. I'm putting a little bit of glue and black paint and zinc paint, kind of mixing it all together. And I saw online a technique where someone used baby powder over the damp paint to kind of give it a little bit of texture and a little bit of age. I really liked that idea and wanted to try it out. I'll leave a link to the video in the description box. It smells nice also. I will show you in a little more detail my process for these in just a moment here. I get so involved in what I'm doing, I forget to check what's coming out on the video. I have my white glue in my Silly Pod, and in my palette box, I have some black paint, which I'm dipping in there, and then I have some of the zinc silvery paint, and then I'm just kind of blotting off my paintbrush. and just applying that just kind of randomly all over. And with a dry, fluffy paintbrush, I just dipped it in the powder and applied it on the barely damp paint. Just kind of dulls some of that shine like you see with metal that's older. I don't want it to look completely rotted and rusted and abandoned. It's just old. I'm just adding some black paint to some of the connecting pieces and the threaded pieces. I'm trying to give you a better idea here, but I'm not doing a very good job. There you can kind of see what I'm doing there. And I'm just doing that very, very small amounts there. Oh, I kind of messed up on that one. But I just went in with one of my little microfiber brushes and was able to remove it. I also added a little bit of orange on the end of the spouts to show just the tiniest little bit of hard water stain. If you live anywhere where there's hard water, which I do in Central California, along the coast, and the water is extremely hard. So hard water stains are abound no matter how much cleaning or how old your pipes and faucets are. It just is inevitable. So I wanted, being that this house is in San Francisco, I want to give it some authenticity. Oops, I forgot to turn the camera on. I added some black paint to indicate some chipping and wear to the enamel on the sink, and I'm adding some orange for some hard water stains. There'll be more hard water stains from the faucets when I apply them. They're going to go on the wall. And I'm just doing the other side of my fixtures, the faucet and pipe, in the same way that I did before. This is a little piece of rubber tubing which I bought to make a stethoscope, but I'm actually going to use it for a little bit of electrical tubing along that seam in the wall. And I put some little pieces of tape there which I'm going to paint to indicate some brackets attaching it to the wall. Moving right along to some other pieces. Remember, I bought this cool light for the infirmary. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to get another one. I wasn't quite sure how to change that color. I used my rub and buff, which I'm still not used to using. And I also, since I had it out, I went ahead and got the lamp from the parlor and decided to tone that down a little bit too. I used some black rub and buff along the copper, and that one came out really, really, really nicely. On the tubing, I used some metallic black paint. I know it looks kind of more shimmery here than it actually is because I have a bright light on it. But just to give it a little tiny bit of texture and shine. I love the way the sink turned out, and there will be some more little rust stains coming down from the wall where the faucets are going to be. In the middle there where I took the original faucet out, I think I'm going to put a little chain for a plug, and there's the faucets. Those will go on the wall. Not sure where to put everything yet. Hopefully you can help me with that. I'm pretty pleased with the way things turned out. I'm just kind of playing with them a little bit, and I want to show you. This light is actually really, really cool, and I'm really happy with the way the parlor lamp turned out because it was way too shiny and new. By the magic of video, the process of attaching this tube to this slick tile wall looks very simple and easy. I'm using Gorilla Glue gel, but it was not easy. It took me actually about an hour. I'm thinking there might have been a better choice in glue, but what that was, I have no idea. Now I get to do something fun, which is take this dresser. Remember I bought 2 of these online, and I'm going to make a side table for the infirmary to go between the beds. So I really roughed it up. It's made really, really nicely. I don't know what kind of wood this is. It's very hard. I kind of gouged it out a little bit and scratched it up. This is just a brush I'm using to remove all my sanding. I wanted it to look like it had been there for quite a long time, because in the story of this infirmary, it's been in the infirmary after all for about 60 or more years. Because I'm lazy, I thought I would just get out my little stain pen. This is the only one that I have, and just see how it looked if I did this. I figured that if I mess this up, I have one more and I could just do it again. So I am really just completely playing. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just thinking of colors that you might see in some old wood. I have a really old pine dresser in my home. It's over 100 years old. I'm not even sure, it's probably 150 years old, and it has a lot of dark colors in with the pine, and I love the way that that looks. I'm using a permanent brown marker. I think I got this group of permanent markers from the Dollar Tree. They're not as nice as Sharpies, but it does the job. I was using a paper towel to kind of buff it a little bit, and that wasn't working, and I finally took a damp Q-tip, and that was working better to blend it. So I just took my time and kind of went around in the corners and areas where I thought it needed some color, and I'm really just completely playing. And you know what? It's so much fun to do this. If you haven't tried something like this in your own miniature making and crafting, I highly recommend it. It's very satisfying and lots of fun to watch it take shape. And I think the more I do it, the better I'll get at achieving the look I want. I mainly got it. I kind of was stumped a little bit with that little raised area in the middle. It wasn't coming out quite how I wanted. I'm adding some dark brown to the areas where the pools will go, because I figured that will always look aged. And as it was falling open while I was doing it, I knew that I would end up having to do the inside as well, because patients will be using it to keep their glasses and personal items. This part was a lot more fun. Using my black brush tip pen really worked well to get into some of those grooves and add some age. And this is what my actual pine dresser really looks like. If I can get a good photo of it, I'll insert it, but I'm not sure I'll be able to get a good photo. I really, really like the way that turned out. I was just using a Q-tip to kind of blend it. For the knobs, I just used my same pen to kind of color them black and then put some silver on them. I didn't really give much thought to the pulls, or, they probably have been changed over the years. They've been broken and pulled off. They just need to be functional. I really didn't want anything too fancy because it's just a utilitarian piece that's being used in the infirmary. Of course, I forgot to turn my camera on when I was doing my dry brushing, so I'm reenacting it here for you. Dipping the brush barely and drying it off in some white paint and kind of going all over. I wanted it really to have a weathered look, like it had been washed or maybe even molded a little bit. Things probably have spilled on it over the years. And one of the things that Millie's mother started doing when she started running the infirmary again is to paint the things that were being used in the house, the things that were being used in the infirmary, she would put a red cross on. So when she was cleaning and rearranging things, she wouldn't mix up what belonged in the infirmary. So I put a little red cross on there, and I did end up kind of scuffing it up a little bit more than it is there. I'm going to put some things back into the infirmary and let you have a look. If you like this video, I hope that you will consider coming back, subscribing to my channel, and leaving a thumbs up. But please leave a comment and let me know if you have any thoughts on how my arrangement could be in the infirmary. I put everything back in here, just kind of playing with the arrangement a little bit, and you can see that's where I'm going to put the light. I think it looks good on the end of the cord, but I think I'm definitely going to need another one somewhere. The sink, you can see that glob of candle wax there. I was just kind of playing with height and placement, and I couldn't quite get the faucets to stick on the wall. So not sure where I'm going to end up putting that. Let me know if you have any ideas. I put the beds along the short wall, but nothing is set in stone in here. If you think it might look better somewhere else, please leave a comment and let me know. There's a lot more that needs to go in here. More lighting, some shelves, some hooks, possibly a window, lots of details. But I want to get some of the things done in the parlor that I need to do, like getting that ceiling and the walls situated. But I'm happy I finally got the floors and walls done in here. Then I don't feel like I'm shirking my responsibilities. You need to have the walls and the floor, right? Thank you so much for stopping by. I can't even tell you how much I appreciate it. I just love all your comments and suggestions. Everyone is so helpful. So please come back and visit me next time in the doll cupboard.